Ryan Garcia is calling for the Tank rematch. He's demanding the Gervonta Tank rematch. I don't think the first fight was as wide as I thought it was going to be. I thought Ryan did some good things in the Tank fight, but it also wasn't the most competitive fight in the world. And I think Ryan Garcia really needs to focus on Devin Haney. But I will say at the same time, I'm really glad to hear that Ryan Garcia has goals outside of making a lot of money, because there was part of me that thought, all the antics that Ryan Garcia is, putting out there on social media, I thought it was all for show. Part of me was also concerned about him, but either way, I thought a big part of him was promoting the fight between him and Devin Haney so that he can make a big bag. And if he loses that fight, he's out of the sport of boxing. But because Ryan Garcia is calling out Tank, and don't get me wrong, I'm not for fighters. I'm not in favor of fighters looking past their opponents and doing all this other stuff, thinking about other things outside of their opponent, because obviously Devin Haney is the man in his way, and I think it's not just any guy that he's beating and then demanding the Tank rematch. It's Devin Haney, the guy at 140, in my opinion, the best 140 pounder in the division right now. And I think for him to be saying that Ryan Garcia, he wants the Tank rematch, shows me that he has more goals that he wants to pursue in the sport of boxing, and it's not just about the money. Don't get me wrong, a rematch with Ryan Garcia and Tank is going to make a lot of money, and Ryan would make a lot of money in the process. He'd make millions of dollars, but ultimately he doesn't need to. This fight with Devin Haney alone would give him that generational wealth that he already made from the Tank fight. He's fighting Devin Haney because he knows that it's a big fight for the sport of boxing. Ultimately, Devin Haney is a big name out there. Besides Tank Davis, besides Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney is a big name for Ryan Garcia to be fighting. And I expect this pay-per-view, assuming that it goes through and actually happens and no one pulls out of the fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, I expect that fight to do solid numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks 1 million pay-per-view buys, to be honest, because I think these guys are very popular, especially with everything going on with Ryan Garcia right now. I think more people that aren't even boxing fans are going to be more inclined to watch the fight, because people that have heard what he's saying about conspiracy theories, about there being a higher level of elites, Logan Paul and his Prime Hydration company being in favor of Satan, supporting Satan. Like, there's a lot of controversy that involves things outside of boxing that's bringing eyeballs to Ryan Garcia's fight with Devin Haney. And I think no matter what, any good eyeballs are pay-per-view points going to Ryan Garcia. It's extra money that he's going to be making ultimately. And no matter what, I hope Ryan Garcia is doing well. I hope that a lot of this is for the sake of promoting a fight and it's not actually affecting his psyche, because I hope that he has all his faculties ready to go, because Devin Haney obviously is going to come prepared. You're fighting the most disciplined fighter, and a lot of people talk about Ryan Garcia and his discipline. Tank has talked about it, Canelo has talked about it, specifically saying he trained with Ryan Garcia when he was in Eddie Reynoso's camp, and Ryan Garcia would just shadow box and then leave. So Canelo has said his piece on Ryan Garcia. I think they're civil, they don't dislike each other, but Canelo obviously saw some stuff that he didn't like from Ryan Garcia, so you take that into account, and you also factor in the fact that Devin Haney is the most disciplined fighter in the world. I always say that Devin's not necessarily the flashiest fighter, maybe not the most talented fighter, but the thing is, he's the most disciplined fighter, and I can tell you guys that because watching him make 35 when a lot of people that would be in his position would just miss the weight. He's made 35. People call him a weight bully. If you can make the weight, you make the weight. But I do think that Ryan Garcia and Tank would do a lot of numbers. I'm just not sure Ryan would have earned that. If he beats Devin, don't get me wrong, puts him back in the conversation for sure. He's definitely on the lower end of that point. I don't think he deserves the Tank fight just yet. But beating Devin is a very strong step in the right direction, but it's just not an easy task. Like, it's not like you're fighting Oscar Duarte and then you deserve a Tank rematch. You're fighting Devin Haney, and one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing today. He has the best jab. He's a very slick fighter. It's a difficult stylistic matchup in the pros, in my opinion, for Ryan Garcia, because Devin's not going to get touched as much as I think people are anticipating. supporting Ryan Garcia. The people that support Ryan, I think, have a false confidence just because of the amateurs, and maybe that'll play in Ryan's favor. Maybe Ryan Garcia really does know something that we don't, but the fact that he's calling for the Tank rematch is a little concerning because you obviously have Devin Haney in front of you. I just think, Ryan Garcia talked about on Twitter, if he doesn't get the Tank rematch after, assuming he beats Devin, if Ryan Garcia doesn't get the Tank rematch, he's willing to fight Shakur Stevenson, and another difficult fight for him. So he only wants big names. Ryan Garcia only wants the toughest tests in the sport of boxing, and I think a guy in Ryan Garcia's situation, I think the reason he doesn't get enough credit is because, ultimately he's making big fights, but the reason he doesn't get the credit for it is because, he's not the most skilled fighter in the world, but ultimately he's putting his name on the line, his reputation on the line for the sake of boxing, for the sake of the greater good of the sport, and I think that's something that should be respected by everybody. And I honestly think Ryan Garcia does have a chance against Devin Haney. I picked Devin, but I think Ryan Garcia, he's talented. Like, there's no excuse but to work hard in the sport of boxing. You can't shortcut anything, but there's also, the situation, and this is true, the scenario that Ryan Garcia has gotten away with a lot of the lack of fundamentals in the sport of boxing because of his talent, because of the power he has in the left hook, because of the speed at which he can time it. So it's not easy to beat any opponent, especially at the professional level. And I think Ryan Garcia gets a lot of hate for no reason. I think he's a solid fighter. I just don't think he's, when it comes to the elite of the elite, that top tier, he's obviously, on the latter end, and that's okay. I feel like we discredit boxers for things that aren't crazy. Like, losing to Tank, you become a bum because you lose to Tank. Like, it doesn't make sense. So that means everybody that gets beaten by Tank is a bum. Like, assume Shakur fights Tank and loses to Tank. Like, Shakur's a bum? Shakur was never a bum. Shakur is one of the most talented fighters in the sport, and people are constantly talking about him, saying he's the next Pernell Whitaker, saying he's the next Floyd Mayweather. It's like, you don't just get these guys, have that reputation, have a well-decorated amateur background, go into the pros, go undefeated, 20-plus fights, and then you lose to one fighter and you're a bum. Like, it just doesn't make sense. If you think Ryan Garcia is a bum, you're a casual. No kid just gets there because of his mouth, because of the way he looks, the way he speaks. Like, that stuff all factors into it, but it's not ultimately, what brought him to the dance. What brought him to the dance is his boxing ability. So let's not sleep on Ryan Garcia. Let's not discredit him. He's definitely earned his right to, fame, to that professional status, that superstar status. Maybe he's not better than Tank. That doesn't mean he's a bum. That's the bottom line. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about Ryan Garcia calling out Tank Davis. Is it too soon? Should he be focusing on the Tank fight? I honestly, I'm not mad at it. I think it's good to have goals. Not that he should be overlooking him, but to have further goals to motivate you for this current fight. He wants that Tank fight. He has to get through Devin first. That's my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. That's going to do it for another Nads Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.